Hello again. Welcome back to another Silver Slander, the final Silver Slander of season 11. I'm once again joined by Chio. How are you doing on this lovely day?
I'm doing pretty well.
Awesome, awesome. So we can get right into it, talking about some semifinal recap going on here. Um, we do have a little bit of some interviews lined up, but while we're waiting for them to get here, we're going to go over the other match. So our first match we're going to go over is Louisiana Lobsters versus Clairvoyance. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Chio, last time these two teams faced off, it was uh, it was a little bit closer. Will I be right
Um,
saying that?
yeah, it was close. It was a nail biter for
It
sure.
was a nail biter map 5 in that best of 5. And then suddenly we go into this semifinals and we don't even go to 5 maps in a best of 7. Like it was just straight up over by 4. I was not expecting that whatsoever. What about you?
Um, I was expecting like 4-1.
You were? Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to go very far though. Last time we played them, like the two maps we ended up losing, like Midtown, we ended up running like Mercy Fara. We haven't even scrimmed that, talked about it or anything. We kind of trolled and like just started making dumb swaps, and then forgot the other one we lost. I don't think it was Push, and we kind of trolled
Mhm.
that one on Coliseo too. Bad ults and bad like
Yeah, I'm looking. You
staggering.
lost. Yeah, you lost Coliseo in Midtown.
Yeah, we staggered really bad and like did some really stupid ults, and like they took the lead, and then they just kind of like we played the game of Push where it's like, oh, you get it cross and then you die, and then it just keeps going back and forth. So it's kind of our
Yeah.
mistakes on that one.
You all noticing this one, only given up 2 points the entire series, one on Samoa, one on Midtown. Uh, Overall, pretty dominant. I wouldn't say though that Clairvoyance played bad at all. I just felt like when it gets to this kind of level at the semifinals, it's just so hard when you're just running one static comp if it isn't like optimal to what you want to do. It's just so hard to be able to win with it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. Game plan was pretty straightforward. Make the Ram miserable and make their Tracer and other DPS have to pop off.
Yeah, I noticed that. Because what I saw from their comp, Clairvoyance, was whenever Nevermore was in, he was on Ramatra. Subbed out, it was some guy. It was no, it was Femboy that was on Sigma for Midtown. Other than that, Nevermore was in. And then their normal comp is they would have Kitten on Ana, which wants to, you want to play for that Nano Ram, Nano Annihilation. Um, but you also have like a May and a Tracer. And I feel like they kind of want to do different things, you know?
Yeah.
Um, because like the Tracer wants to get into position before you go for the fight,
Hmm.
and so like you can go into them, but then the maid doesn't really want to do that. That wants to like capitalize on mispositioning of other people, and would much rather have a much slower fight that the Tracer just doesn't give you, and the Ana doesn't give you that either. You don't have the sustain to keep a long fight going if the Tracer's not in position, which means that if you get out tempoed like lobsters did to clairvoyance, like it's just so hard to really come back into it.
Right. It was just the game plan was wall off Anna, make sure she can't heal the Ram,
Hmm.
or if Tracer was taking too long and we saw where she was going, which I was scouting a lot of it, then we go when
Yeah.
she's out the fight, and it just made it a 4v5 either way. It was
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Would you say there are like any sort of other comments? Like again, I didn't really see too much out of the ordinary, other than it felt like towards the end, clairvoyance got a bit panicked. They were subbing Femboy in into. He played main support on Samoa. He played tank on Midtown. He played main support on New Junk City, and then he played DPS on Coliseo. It felt like towards the end, especially, like you don't really sub out Kitten and Maniacal out. Um, or sorry, Addison Maniacal. What am I saying? Um, but it just seemed really weird, you know?
Yeah, we honestly don't know why they went to the Reaper comp on Coliseo. We guess
Yeah.
they thought if Flutter isn't working, then maybe if we throw this one, it will work.
Hmm.
We were more surprised not to see Zen the entire time. When they rolled out and it was May Lucia, we were like, oh, okay. And I think
Yeah.
that's why we ended up dropping first point Samoa. We were just kind of like weren't ready for that style that they came in. And once we
Yeah.
adjusted, we were good. But like, there's a few things they did that we weren't like really expecting.
Hmm. I honestly don't really have many other notes. It felt like that was kind of the theme throughout the whole thing, is what we talked about. Do you have anything else that you found like kind of interesting about it? Oh, I know one thing that uh, I'll talk a little bit about Louisiana lobsters, and you can maybe shed some light on some of this stuff. Um, I would say that Andrew and Thixty had the game of the season right there for them. I feel like the two of them absolutely popped off and made so few mistakes. Especially Andrew. I made the call on cast. Aim God Andrew. Um, absolutely eating everybody up for dinner, but he was also eating up. I think I watched 3 maps afterwards so I could count. I watched Samoa, Midtown, and Coliseo. In total, guess how many pulse bombs were either aimed or stuck onto Andrew in those 3 maps?
Say like 10 or 11.
It was 10. It was
Yeah, I
10
was about
just
to
on
say.
those 3 maps.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Um,
dude was throwing every one of them at him. Like, we were like, oh, he has pulse bomb, and like the rest of it, nobody on the team was worried. We were just like, all right, Andrew, stay near Dixie. Like that was the call.
yeah.
It was like just save lamp, save to Dixie, because like nobody else was worried about getting stuck.
Yeah. I can see that too, because that was the main target to go for, because that bastion just absolutely ruined Ramatra and would force either like a shift into the other form to use block, or just like they have to disengage, otherwise they can't deal with the bastion if that pulse bomb isn't on it.
Agreed.
So I think that's that for that semifinal matchup. Again, 4-0, pretty freaking wild right there. We'll go into our next one, which is Space Created versus Dirt Esports. Uh, this was another 4-0, but I don't think it was who you expected to win whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I can definitely say that was not expecting anywhere near what we saw.
Yeah.
I was expecting a close
Uh,
one, but
I was also expecting a close one. I'm going to bring over our 2 guests from Dirt Esports for our interview. We have the coach, Dr. Pepper, or Dr. Tepper, and the Flex DPS KDN. So give me 1 second. Hello, hello. Can you guys hear us?
Yeah, what's up?
Not too much. How are you guys doing, man?
I'm doing pretty well. Tep's still working, so he might be delayed in
Oh, okay. All right.
responding.
Hey yo,
Hey, how's it going?
can you hear me?
Yep,
Yep.
we can hear you.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're just starting to talk about this matchup. We want to focus on Dirt first. 4-0. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think anyone outside looking in, we really expected a 4-0, especially coming from like an upset as well. Like that was quite a show you guys played. Want to give a little bit of insight on like how you guys were able to just, pick them apart, stuff like that?
I'll
Tep,
go
do you want
first.
to
I
talk?
don't know if
Okay.
KDN has anything on this, but I was watching a lot of the content, like your Slander, or not Slander, but your tier list video, and just the casting in general. And a lot of people were shitting on Ringer, but honestly, we gave him the respect he deserves, and it's part of the reason why we won. Because we were just looking out for Ringer constantly. We needed the pressure on that guy. All right, like Dirt's comms weren't. There's a Sojourn behind us. They were Ringers behind us, guys. Like I thought it was pretty funny, but the emphasis on stopping that guy and shutting him down was part of the reason we ended up coming out on top.
Awesome job. Katie, and I want to talk a little about you because you had some really great plays. I think especially like on Midtown, you were pretty fantastic on the Genji. I believe you were playing the Torb on Coliseo. That was pretty wild too. Um, can you tell us a little bit why you decided to roll out on that comp on Coliseo? Because I was watching afterwards the cast, and they could not believe that you were actually like coming out on Ilyari, Roadhog, Lifeweaver, Torb, Soldier. Like, where did that come from?
Yeah, it was a really fun comp of ours. So actually, fun fact about that, we didn't start scrimming that comp until 2 days beforehand. And really it was just because, well, one, Gentle Giant really wanted to play Roadhog in some sort of comp. So we were just sort of appeasing that for the memes. And then two, I just think everybody was so hyper focused on our Doom comp that when we rolled out with something like that, we imagined their mindset was something along the lines of like, one, what the hell is this? And two, what do we do to beat it type deal. So a lot of it was just, a decision on our end to just do something fun, but maybe throw a little wrench in the plans. And I think I wouldn't necessarily say it's an ego thing, but when you're 3-0 up in a session, I think we were a little bit more confident with like willing to take that risk to roll out on something that's informal in a sense. And to go back to the first thing you said earlier too, so this was actually my first time playing against Space Created since I joined the roster late.
Yeah.
They had scrimmed them earlier in the season, and from what I've heard, they pretty much got steamrolled by Space Created in the scrims. But so like Tep was saying, I think I wasn't entirely sure what to expect. I know that there was a lot of hype about the team, so I think I expected. I don't know if I'd say I expected a little bit more. I did think it would be a difficult matchup, but I'd never faced him before. So one of the funnier things about it is Tep is really good at helping us out with scouting teams and sort of identifying what they play. And we scrimmed Ilios a ton because Space Created had played Ilios a lot, and they had played a lot of these different comps that we were prepped for, and then they just never. They didn't pick Ilios against us, and they didn't play any of the comps that we scrimmed for. So really, when we went into that match, we weren't really prepped for anything that they played. Pretty much our game plan, like Tep said, was find the threat and kill the threat. And so that was pretty much my job throughout the entire match, is just find Ringer and kill him over and over. So I think we did a pretty good job about that.
You definitely did. Do you know like around like what time you like had that scrim? Because I feel like you joined towards like the beginning of stage 2, right?
Yeah,
I know exactly when that scrim was. It was our warm-up scrim before
y'all played
Dirt
us.
Played the Lobster.
Oh my god, that's when y'all
Dirt played
stole
the
our warm-up
Lobster.
partner. Wow.
We got absolutely doomed
Wow.
to smoke. It was,
The fact I knew exactly.
it was bad.
That's bad. That is terrible.
Yeah,
we're gonna listen. We're gonna blame Mickey's internet. He was lagging. Okay.
Ah, yes.
Okay, all right. Wow,
That's crazy.
That is wild.
But we did. I will add, like we did kind of get a little bit lucky. We weren't expecting Space Created to come out on the Sigma, but a lot of the teams we were scrimming ended up playing that exact comp.
Right.
So we did have a lot of experience versus the Sigma. So it was something that we've seen over and over and over and over. So the boys really weren't thrown off by it, and everyone just knew what to do.
Awesome job. Knowing that, especially going into the finals against Louisiana Lobsters, which has just been spamming the Sigma comp in every single game so far, pretty much since the playoffs began. Do you have any worries about them compared to Space Created?
Truthfully, I think Dirt has the Sigma comp figured out. The one thing that we've struggled with, and I know Lobsters are aware of this, is the Queen comp. So if they come out on the Queen comp, we have something for them. If they come out on the Sig comp, we're just going to do business as usual.
All right. Sounds fantastic.
Smile.
I know that Khiyo and the other support, Fixie, just absolutely love playing the Queen comp. So personally, I don't know. I think probability is low that they run out on it. It might be something that they practice over the next week, but especially with the patch coming through like the day before, buff to Doom gonna be pretty big. Buff to a lot of other stuff that would help stop that Doom dive. Small nerf to Soldier, feel really bad for Dabber there because he's been spamming that so
Wait,
far.
what was the soldier nerf? His heal?
Yeah, his heal nerfed from 15
Yeah,
seconds to 18.
no, we're good. Dabber throws his heal down and leaves every time, so that doesn't affect her.
So
We're
it
good
doesn't matter.
Look, man, as long as I can have an honest 1v1 with the Genji, I'm okay.
Well, the Genji's in the call right now, so if you want to set that up, just like somewhere off to decide first point, go ahead and do that.
Yeah, and part of the Torb thing for me too is it's just fun to play something other than Genji. I think I watched or listened to one of either your power rankings or your interview before, and you sort of talked about me being a Genji one trick, which I mean Genji is my most played hero, but I'm pretty confident I can play any DPS that I need to. It just so happens that obviously Doom comp is our most synergized.
Right.
I don't. There definitely is not a Doom comp in this league that can sort of fight ours. So we're just we're the most confident on that comp.
That's fair. I think oftentimes when I call people one tricks, it's oftentimes because you often play sort of one hero. Like most of the time, besides this week, you were always on the Genji. Dabber was always on the Soldier. Stuff like that. If I didn't know Khiyo personally, I'd be like, oh, he's an Yari just one trick that just happens to play Lucio. Up until this week when he really like showed it out a lot and got a lot of plays on it, stuff like that. But yeah, you guys did some really great work. Awesome talking to you guys. Do you have any sort of slander, maybe silver slander, to go slander out towards Louisiana Lobsters right here, right now?
Just thinking about it from like a sports perspective,
Mm-hmm.
when a team in this scenario, we beat the Lobsters, they beat us. In theory, we are the favorites. So any dirt haters, especially with the Doom buff coming out, you better be seething right now.
Right.
That's all I gotta say. I have confidence the boys can do it. But I wish the best of luck to Lobsters. They're a great team. Congrats on making it to the finals.
You as well.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is, so Andrew jumped into Gentle Giant stream the other night, and I told him the same thing. He wished us luck in the finals. We did the same, but I did tell him that lobster's on the menu. This is my
Lobsters for dinner.
Hey, man,
We're
I'm gonna
putting
just put it
lobsters
out
in
there,
our
bro.
chili.
Everybody
and
that's
once
put
again-
lobster on their menu hasn't had a good night, man. So I'm just
Anyway,
saying.
this has been my first season of playing Overwatch ever, so it's been fun. And even win or lose, I'm enjoying time with friends. So that's pretty much it.
Awesome to hear. After the season's over, you going back to some Realm Royale?
Absolutely
Hell
not. That
nah.
game is dead and gone in the dirt.
All right. It's in the dirt. Oh, one last question, because I was curious. Where is all of the chili stuff going on in like the Trank Discord chat? Where did that come from? Or is that just a Slicky Nicky thing?
I think it's
That
a
is-
Slicky Nicky thing.
Yeah, that's
All right, sounds
purely
good.
Nicky.
Just one
Every
day,
scrim.
one day he came up with it. Even in scrims, he's talking about chili.
Oh,
He hasn't
Every
done it.
scrim, every comp match, he asks the opening question, do you guys like chili? That is our Nicky right
That's
there.
fair. It's fair.
Nicky is a recently newly married man, and I think it's ruined him mentally. So
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Again, this was Dr. Tepper and KDN of Dirty Sports. I hope you two have a great night.
thanks, you too.
You too, man.
Peace.
Peace. All right. So I think the person to interview for Lobsters is here, but we're going to go over the rest of the Space Creative thing. Khiyo, I think that's the best call.
Yep.
Watching this, I think that insight on targeting Ringer, it definitely showed.
Yeah.
Where it felt like he could not get away with a lot whatsoever. When I was watching it, I was definitely thinking he's egoing here. Like he was taking duels. I think as soon as you, personally, I'm not Ringer. and especially when I was doing the video about it, I was throwing quite a bit of shade at a lot of Space Creative because they made a lot of uncharacteristic misplays. But personally, like, even though I'm not as good as Ringer, I think as soon as I see, like, I know they're going to run out on that Doom comp and you want the Sojourn to play an off angle, I don't see why you wouldn't just start off with like a Bastion. Something that can't get dove really easily, can really help melt through, you know, a Doomfist, melt through, you know, the Kiriko, the Ana, the Soldier, stuff like that. What are your thoughts on
Well,
what Space Creative should have done?
well, if they wanted to run that Doom comp, you're gonna have to have the Surge because, like, I
Mhm.
don't remember, were they running Genji or Tracer with their Doom?
Space Creative or
Tracer.
Dirt?
Space Grid. It was Tracer.
Space Creative, they ran Tracer.
So with Doom Genji, I mean with Doom Tracer, you kind of have to have that Surge because like you're playing off rail, like you're kind of diving, poking in, but like the rail, whoever you hit is who you go on.
Okay.
I think they should have went Lucio. We've warmed up against them like every week since like stage 2, and they've ran the Doom comp against us a few times, and they ran it with Lucio most of the time, and Ringer was like perma safe because Majestic was always able to get to him, speed him out, amp heal on him. Pug was always safe. I think that the Brig, while it protects the Ana, doesn't protect Ringer as much because Ringer's
Yeah.
playing that heavy off angle, and I think Dirt figured out the same thing we figured out in warm-ups that we would have probably done against them if we played them in grand finals, where it's forget the rest of the team, punish Ringer on his off angles because unironically that's just how he's been playing all year, and I don't think any teams really realized it. He just lives on the off angle by himself, and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
he's gone. Let's run on the team," and then he kills you instead of let's run on Ringer. And Dirk kind of put 2 and 2 together. They ran on him. I think he should have played closer to his Ana Brig, or they should have went Lucio so that Majestic could go back and forth.
That's fair. That's not something I would have thought of, so I'm glad for your insight on that. But yeah, I kind of have to agree that Majestic's Brig didn't quite look up to it. Like he's a very good Lucio player. I think he's probably the second best Lucio in the tier. I don't think his Brig is as solid, nearly as good. So I kind of agree, I guess, that it makes sense that they would go on that Lucio. There are a few times where they would swap to the Cass instead. What are your thoughts on that? Because again, I'm a Mercy one trick. I don't know too much about DPS and how that would work. You're the expert here.
The cast is for the nade, and like you're trying to hinder the Doom and stuff. But the issue is that only works if it's only a Doom. You have a Genji on you. You have a Soldier flanking you. You have a Kiri pressuring you. You have Ana nades flying. Like, it's different if they're running like just a Doom and you want to shut down just a Doom, or they're running Ball and you want to shut down Ball, or there's just like a Tracer and you want to shut down Tracer.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't think it works against a full organized dive because it's like you throw the nade, you roll away. Once the Doom blocks your nade and just eats it, what next? Like, you just die. And so I personally think if they were going through all that, they should have just ran their Orisa comp. They have an Orisa comp they've been spamming throughout the playoffs, like we spam Sig. And
that's what I would have
waiting on
assumed
it.
too.
I was waiting, like if there's a time that nobody's gonna question your Orisa comp, it's against the Doom team.
Like, especially last week, like they were 4-0 against Spirits. Obviously, Spirits and Dirt are different levels, but it was a 4-0 against Spirits, and they pretty much only ran that Orisa comp. You know,
Right.
other games they played, I'm pretty sure against Thor, they ran mostly ran mostly the Orisa.
Or even their Diva
Against
comp.
against Spirits the week before that, you know, they ran Diva, they ran Orisa.
Right. You would think even Diva, because like if Ringer's getting permadove, Diva
Yeah.
would eat up a lot of that. Like he gets punched, you eat the follow-up shots. He gets dive, you eat up the shurikens. Like, you'll stop a lot of the nades from Slicky Nicky with Defense Matrix, and you can do a lot more, I would assume.
Yeah. Again, like, I know the people from Dirt talked about it, so I do have a video that I put out, in case anyone hasn't seen it, where I like go over the weekend. I was harping on Space Grid a lot. I think it was mainly because, you know, it was an 0-4 and they weren't playing nearly as well as I expected them to, you know? I think you can agree with me at least on that they were not playing well. They made a lot of, especially after map 1, they made a lot of uncharacteristic misplays Like I think Inuj was fluxing right, literally like a
In his
meter
face.
away from a Doomfist and got immediately punched out of it before the voice line even
Yeah.
finished.
That was a Midtown.
Um,
That was funny.
You saw Sleepy G on May going to contest like people on the high ground on point C of Midtown. Like went up the elevator, people were up there, and the Genji was right across. So the Genji was just able to jump across, and then it was 3 versus 1, just immediately died. Majestic wasn't playing super well. Pug playing all right, but compared to, you know, Slicky Nicky, Nonfiction, who were really well that entire series, you know, it just wasn't quite enough. And then Ringer, I think I was definitely a bit too harsh when I'm saying like he was egoing and stuff like that, but in my mind, like when you're against a Doom comp, you can't play on an off angle whatsoever because their job is to isolate, and you saw that especially against Ragnarok Thor, where Thor had gone out on the Reinhardt, pinned someone away, and the rest of the team was just able to dive in, take out the other 4 in like 5 seconds, you know? That's why I was saying that like I thought he was egoing a lot. Obviously, it might not be an ego, maybe it was just like that kind of pick and they didn't know what to do or what to change. But they also like didn't make too many adjustments during maps and stuff, and I got pretty heated about just like it didn't look like they were trying to win. It looked like they were trying to not lose at times, you know?
Yeah.
Um, I think part of it will also be just that Dirt had a much better just like matchup again with that off angle compared to a Doom dive. You know, it's just really hard to change how you're playing the entire season, where just across the board you weren't really getting punished for a lot of stuff. And now it's suddenly a team that is known for punishing well, and especially punishing mispositioning, you know?
Yeah. And I don't think that was taken into account. I think they're kind of prep for Space Created more than Space Created prep for Dirt. I think Space Created was kind of like, we're going to play our game. And Dirt was like, we're going to play our game, but we're going to focus on this as well.
Yeah. So I think that's a pretty good place to end the wrap up on the Dirt versus Space Created. We do have now an interview with a member of the Louisiana Lobsters. We have the Flex DPS for PhevieWonder. Here, one sec to add him in here. Hello, PhevieWonder. How are you doing?
Hello, how were we doing? I'm doing good.
Doing fantastic. Thank you for coming on to this show. We've got some smooth jazz playing for you. Can you talk a little bit about that series? You know, it was a 4-0. I know last time Clairvoyance played you guys, it was just a tad bit closer in a nail biter game 5. Talk me through how you were feeling throughout that.
I over last from last time's game, because it was such a nail biter. Like it went to map 5 and everything. It was like very tense. I felt like we were very like we were ready to play them again going into bracket right after, and then after when it came up, I think we were a little nervous, but we already knew how to beat them and play them before, so all we had to do was do it. And then we executed.
Awesome. I'm trying to see what in general. It looked like you guys had a really great idea going into it. You were able to punish pretty well. You know, the on a sight line and a Zen sight line with the May wall. Can you talk a little bit about your prep for the series? Did you do anything specific, like as a team or anything like that? Or was it just the game plan going in?
Most of our talk about it was immediately just talking about switching Andrew from Surge to Bastion. Even if it costs him getting pill spawned every fight.
It was so funny. Like probably about 3/4 of all the pull spawns.
I went back and watched every map. Do you want to know how many times Maniacal pull spawned him?
When I looked at Samoa, Midtown, and Colosseo, I saw 10. but I'm gonna assume probably about 13 if I include New Junk
So
City.
12 intentional pulse bombs,
Ooh,
4 unintentional. So where he
they're
threw it
just
at somebody,
attracted to him.
so where he threw it at somebody else, and it somehow goes towards Andrew and hits him.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is absolutely wild.
I know, it's insane.
Yeah. So we already had quite a bit of a talk, me and Khiyo, about Clairvoyance versus Louisiana Lobsters. You had really great game plan. How are you feeling going into this grand final matchup against your esports?
I'm excited. We played each other twice before. They've won
Mhm.
once, we've won once. It's tied up. This is all of this is the decider, not only for which team is better out of our draws, but like this is for
Mhm.
grand finals as well, so it's very important.
Awesome. Awesome. Uh, yeah, do you have any sort of like slander you want to sling their way uh and coming up for next week's match?
Uh I don't know. I don't think I have any slander. I think it's
Infamous.
just more like
Oh,
I think we're just very like keen to win.
mhm.
Justice for space lobsters.
Oh yeah, justice for space lobsters. That's definitely the motto going into next week.
That's what we have to do.
Alright.
What must be done. I'm sorry.
All right, awesome. Do you have anything else you want to say before we let you go?
The only slander I have is against
Mhm.
Andrew for being pulse bombed 12 times.
I've heard him after he was very upset about a lot of it,
You
but
know,
it's so funny.
No.
Every single time it happens, I was laughing so hard on the inside.
Hey.
Oh my gosh.
I'm convinced you only ranked him sixth those times just because of how many times he got pulsed.
Yeah,
Well,
hey, give him a break, man.
well,
He is
listen, I did ring him first, but I just also
no,
put
no,
him
no,
in
no,
sixth
no,
as
no, no,
well.
no, no. He's definitely sixth. How do you allow yourself
You
to
He's
do
sixth?
that so many
Okay.
he's
times?
definitely sixth.
Yeah, he's
All right.
forever sixth in our hearts.
I
Yeah.
saw that Dirt had 2 representatives come in for the interview, and I asked Andrew
Yeah.
to
He's
come
too
in
busy getting pulse
because he's too busy getting pulse bombed to come in and help me. Because I said Chio
Yeah.
can't count because he's already on here anyway.
All right. All right. Well, thank you so much for popping in, Pio. Once again, this is Piojin, the Flex DPS of Louisiana Lobsters. Thanks so much.
No problem.
All right. Going into our next topic, we can do the end of season recap, uh, especially going over like a lot of the awards and stuff like that. So the end of season awards. Um, we're looking at the role stars, stuff like that. Uh, I'll run through each of these, and then we can talk a little bit about. Do you think that these were the top 4 of the position? Okay.
All right.
Let me just pull it up. Do. Sorry. So we're gonna start off with Tank. We have Vespa King from Louisiana Lobsters, Nevermore from Clairvoyance, Gentle Giant from Dirty Sports, Davion from Phantom Wind, and the winner was, I believe, Inuj, right? Or was it Vespi?
It was Vespa.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if like they just included like 4 and just forgot to include the actual winner, if those are just the actual 4. I think this is pretty solid. I don't really see too much wrong with this. I think like you could make an argument maybe for including Inuj over one of these 4, but I don't know who you would kick out for that. Like I think Gentle Giant and Vespa King are top 2, and then 3, 4, 5 are just also close.
Yeah.
I think that's right though. Yeah.
Yeah. I can agree with that. I mean, you could swap Anuj for any of those besides Vespi and Gentle, and it probably wouldn't. Nobody would bat an eye at it.
Yep. Going on to next one, which is projectile DPS. The winner, Sleepy G, and then we have Veneno from Phantom Wind, Pyojin from Louisiana Lobsters, and Koi from Galactic Gibbons. I think this makes sense. Like looking at a lot of this, like I think the odd one out when you look at it is Veneno, but I think that's just because you know, there isn't too much around Phantom Wind, like news about it. Like he's pretty new to the scene.
Yeah.
But I think he was like played pretty well. You might be able to argue instead of Veneno something like Addison from Clairvoyance, but I think you would put Veneno over that, honestly.
Yeah.
The only other person I can think of is like KDN. But
Yeah.
he joined kind of late, so it's hard to put him in
That's what I
that
was
spot,
thinking.
you know?
I was thinking if KDN ended up playing probably the entire season. I think he
Yeah.
wins it, honestly. Even if he only played Genji.
If he wins, ooh,
Well, I mean, I'm gonna be real.
I like that take. No,
I'm gonna
that's
be
fair.
honest,
I like that.
we didn't like. I love my PO, but like, we didn't have a flex DPS this season. That was just like that pop off, like we did in the tank and like hit scan. Like there wasn't like a flex DPS that was just like far above everybody else. And then like KDN comes
Right.
in playoffs, and it's like he's like the one flex DPS that's like that Genji guy going
Mhm.
crazy. And every other DPS is kind of like relatively the same level. Like they all pop off the same, they're all the same. And KDN's just like next level, in my opinion. So I think if he's here, he wins it.
Ooh, I like that take. He's gonna be happy to hear that if he's watching this after. Next one is going to be best hit scan DPS. We have the winner, Ringer from Space Created, Sky from Galactic Gibbons, Maniacal from Clairvoyance, and Ice Cream from Los Rancheros. What are your thoughts here?
Ooh, I didn't realize Ice Cream got it. Okay. I don't got much argument with that one. I don't. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that one's fair. I don't have much. Yeah.
If you had to put a fifth, who would you put on there? That's what I'm trying to think of.
Doesn't matter how late they joined.
Are you saying that you would put Andrew as number
I'm
5?
putting Andrew number 5 if it doesn't matter when they join, because he joined in the middle of stage 2, I think.
Yeah.
Or like the last week of stage 2.
Right. If when they joined did matter, who would you put in number 5?
Probably Forgetful from Alt Inferno.
Ooh.
They
I
had
like that.
They had some
That's a
major
spicy
pop
one.
offs. I like their Sojourn. Their Sojourn was
They-
nasty.
That's really true. I think as a dark horse, if they made it further, and by made it further, if they had this roster from the very beginning of the season, I think you would put as a possible 5th Zeldris from Mercury. I think Zeldris was absolutely insane in the weeks that they had. The only one that I think like it didn't really work out was starting in playoffs. Like I think Elampool, I think they were absolutely fantastic, and even in the match against Gibbons, I thought they played really well. I just feel like it just happened to be that they played against, you know, Gibbons, and it was just not really much you can do after that, you know?
Right.
But we'll go on to the next one here, which is Best Flex Support. The winner was Pug from Space Created, Kanjita from Ragnarok Thor, Slicky Nicky from Dirty Sports, and 69 from Louisiana Lobsters.
Yeah, no complaints there. Bug wins it. He's a bat player. Bat meta literally the entire season.
Yeah.
I expect nothing different.
Yeah, I think this is I gotta agree too. I think these are like the top 4. I don't think there's really an argument for a 5th. I'm trying to think who I would put as a 5th if I had to though, and I'm really not sure.
If I had to put a 5th,
I might honestly put Emily NA
That's what I was thinking.
from Geometric. I think they were really good. It just so happened that a lot of their last games, they were on comps that just really didn't suit Emily's strengths.
Yeah.
And I think
Emily
they
was
were
one of
on
the better
they were on some
Alaris.
weird stuff, right? They were on some
Yeah.
weird stuff towards the end.
They were. Emily was one of the better Alaris. I think they should have just ran that double flex with Baffalari more.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Going into the last role, we have best main support.
I have a hot take for this one.
You do have a hot take for this one. I wonder what it is.
Oh no, it's not what you're thinking.
We have the winner, Majestic from Space Created. Then we have Khiyo from Louisiana Lobsters, Nonfiction from Dirty Sports, and PhevieWonder from Galactic Gibbons.
You ready for my hot take?
I'm ready for your hot take.
Nonfiction shouldn't be in there. It should be Keylams from Karma.
See, I gotta agree. I wouldn't put Nonfiction in there because they run double flex support. And you could make the argument, of oh, that's the main support player when they do play it. But I would have put instead Lazy Turtle from Phantom Wind, I think. Just wondering, Bubble Wyatt, can the stream hear you, or is that just us and you expect me not to react to it? Yeah, and I'm assuming that you guys can't hear it, but he tried saying I'm not on there, but that, you know what, that's fair enough. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think Keelam should be up there. On top of the fact that, that Khiyo guy got robbed. But, that's a story for a different day.
Yeah, I think this is... I think this might be the only one that I think I would have put a different person as the winner. I would have put Khiyo on there. I think you're just, very, very good. And it came down to stuff like, I think, name recognition, especially in Stage 1, where no one really knew you and you're kind of an unknown. So if people weren't paying attention to everything, like every single week or stuff like that, they wouldn't know you as well, Meanwhile, Majestic has had a really great past few seasons too. So I can understand why Majestic was put as number 1. I think I would have put Khiyo. I think I would have put you number 1 though. You're number 1 in my heart. One last one. MVP category. The 4 up there: Sky from Galactic Gibbons, Slicky Nicky from Dirt Esports, Khiyo from Louisiana Lobsters, and the winner, Ringer from Space Created. What are your thoughts?
I like all 4 of those. I think, unfortunately, the only other MVP candidate was one of my teammates, so we both couldn't be on there.
That's true. I can't be upset about Ringer being MVP.
I can't either.
I think it depends really how you view MVP as best player on the best team, or if you replace this person with just an average person, like an average player in the role, how far down does the team go? If you look at it best player on the best team, I would say Ringer. So I think at the peaks, I think I would take Space Created as the number 1 team. But if I were to say who made the most difference to all their teams, I would probably go Khiyo. But again, I can't really hate it because both of them are up there as nominees,
Yeah, no, that was the one guy I said if I didn't win the MVP and they won it, I wouldn't be mad about it. Everybody else I'd have been like, wow. But Ringer was the one guy I was like, if I don't win it, he better win it.
Yeah. We can go into other super cool topic, because I think that's pretty, correct for all that stuff. this is something that I thought of that I think would have been a really great way to look back at a lot of this past season, and that is best matches of the season and your pick for the best unfeatured match of the season.
Ooh. Let's see.
Because I've thought about 6 best matches that I can think of as like really good ones that if you wanted to look at some of the highlights from a lot of different teams, I can give you mine if you're sort of stumped, you know.
Well, I have a few off the
All right,
bat.
let's run through your through. Let's
Okay,
run through
okay.
them.
So my first one is Karma versus Exhilaration in the last week of stage 1. That's my first one. It was to see who got sent to, I think it was both for elimination bracket, but it was whoever's
Yeah.
gonna get their first win. It was the 2
Bragging
Rhine
rights, yep.
teams in the pool of that, like the death pool.
True.
It was the 2 Rhine LTP teams, and they were playing, and Karma went up 2-0, I think. And then Exhilaration said, you know what, we're getting off of this Orisa shit, and we're gonna mirror the Rhine. And they just ran with it. And I think the
Ooh.
push map ended up being like an overtime push to like win it by like a meter or something.
Was that one featured? Because I really want to look back on it. That
I
sounds
think
like
it
a really hype
was. I
one.
think it was a feature one actually.
Let
It was
me-
because after everybody's matches, we all went to watch it.
That's pretty hype.
No, it was a
Um,
really good game. It was a reverse sweep. Unfortunately for my boys Karma, they couldn't pull that one out. They had a great stage too, but in that one, that was a hype game there.
I see. I think that was week 4.
Yeah.
That does look pretty hype, actually. That's one of the few, full reverse sweeps that you saw here.
Yeah, that one. And then Gibbons versus Space Created in week 5. That was one of my more favorite ones to
That was pretty
watch.
spicy. That was a really fun one to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That was also
then-
insanely close.
And then I think off recency bias, Ragdoor and Phantom win.
That was the one that I put down there. That I
Yeah.
thought was a really good one.
That was good too.
I can run through some of the ones that I have on here. I'm not going to mention one of them because that's the one that I have for best unfeatured match of the season. So I'll run through them. Week 1, Louisiana Lobsters versus Space Created. I thought that was an absolute banger to watch.
I like that.
Week 4, I had Lobsters versus Gibbons. I thought that one was also a pretty big banger. Especially like playing that against you was probably one of the most fun matches I've ever had.
Yeah, that was my most fun one this season for sure.
You'd hardly ever get a time where like the main like focus point is like main supports. And that's that's I think like especially if you were like knew both of the teams and how the main supports played and like how they both prepped for it and changed their styles just for that one singular match was absolutely ridiculous. And I thought it was so good.
That was super funny.
Oh. I see something in chat right now. Dr. Pepper is saying, if Dirt loses to Lobsters, he will shave his beard.
Wait,
that is
what?
fire.
Wait, what? Huh?
Hold on. Can you send me that picture on Discord and we can get it on stream? Because that would be, or maybe not put it on stream because we don't want to dox you, but yeah, if you approve of that, we can do that. And we'll talk through like the rest of these while that happens. Dude, I'm sorry. I have a speech impediment.
New hashtag. No more hashtag justice for space lobsters. It's now hashtag shave the beard.
Hashtag shave the beard. Okay. Yeah. If you want to send that to us and like give us some approval, if it's okay to put on stream, we will. Otherwise, it'll just be for like me, Khiyo, and the prod to look at, because that would be really funny. Yeah. The fourth best match of the season was the week 12. So not this past week, but the last round of playoffs between Louisiana Lobsters and Clairvoyance.
Mm.
I thought that one was a real nail biter. Holy shit, that's a big beard. We have permission to dox on stream. I'm gonna take a screenshot of that message just to make sure I don't get bullied later for it. Hold on, let me copy this image. Are you a chef? That looks like a chef kind of hat, you know? That is wild. Holy shit. Yeah, we're gonna get that on here. In the meantime, there was one other best match of the season. I forgot because they were both week 12. Galactic Gibbons versus Dirt was such a good game.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. That was good. I was about to add that one.
That was so good. Oh my gosh. Yeah, those are my like best matches. I think specifically about Gibbons versus Dirt. That was a I think that was a reverse sweep too. And like last round of playoffs of two teams that were like both considered to be yeah, here's the beard for all of you to look at in its majesticness. Even though majestic isn't on Dirt, that is a majestic looking beard. If you shaving that for losing, that is some huge confidence that I absolutely love. Oh wow. Yeah, it's gonna be sad when that gets shaved off. I'm joking. I'm joking. We will find out. We will find out on Thursday.
Phoebe has the script, guys.
Yeah. So with Gibbons Dirt, not only was it like a reverse sweep, but also like the adjustments that both teams made throughout the series were really good. The Brig versus Dirt for that I came out was like really fun to play, and I was like me trying as hard as I can every single time, and it was super fun. And then on Circuit Royale, they spawn held with a Rhine comp that we did not see coming. And it took like a solid minute and a half, 2 minutes to get through it. And it was so cool. And that was so good. And I think they might have used that on attack too until we swapped. And then they ran the Doom comp again. And it was just like, that was just so good. And then one last part of this, best unfeatured match. So this was a match that wasn't featured in any stream, anything like that. So it wasn't in an official one. But looking back, you think it should have been because it was really good. Have you given this any thought?
I need to see if this one wasn't a feature. I know I went back and watched it on my own. That was week 5. Was it?
I'm seeing in chat, didn't you see me saying Space Crane versus Louisiana Lobsters week 1? That was a pretty good one.
It was.
Was it?
I don't think it was, but I could be wrong. Yeah,
All right,
no,
go for
it wasn't. Alt Inferno versus Rag Thor week 5. That was a 5-map banger that I enjoyed watching.
I need to look at this. That was a while ago. I need to try to remember that.
Yeah, that was week 5.
Yeah, that looks like a really good one too. That was a map 5, yeah.
I think that was when Alt Inferno had just lost their main support. And so like everybody thought they were gonna get rolled. And then
True.
They
I remember
back,
that.
and I don't know if it was a reverse sweep, but I know it was on the last map was Circuit. And I know Alt Inferno was like getting rolled in like the Sig like double sniper mirror. And then they just went Reinhardt and just were like TPing all over the map and just turned the entire game around. It was crazy.
That sounds fucking sick. I'm sad that I don't remember that. 'Cause
Yeah,
that sounds really hype.
that was a really good one.
And then my pick was week 8, the Aces versus Karma.
Ooh.
So this was probably the first real sign of life that you saw out of the Aces. It was a, I believe it was Elam Pool. Yeah, it was Elam Pool. It was a 3-0, but listen to these scores. 2-1 to Karma, 4-3 to Karma, and then 3-2 to Karma. Like each one of them was super close. Like it was absolutely insane. And it was stuff like Numbani, stuff like the Winston dive coming out from the Aces and like you got monkeyed was insane to watch. North, his Lucio was actually super good. And just overall, just everyone in that entire series played super well, and that was so much fun to watch. Like, I'll tell you the comments that I made about it, okay? This is when I said, the comment got a little bit around, so it was, I edited a copy pasta, but it was like, that's fucking Overwatch right there. None of that pansy-ass dick tug smiling for the camera bullshit. Men puke, men poop on Nepal, men deliver their newborn baby on Numbani. Fucking hardcore dick. And the ass butterball paladins, fuck it, chuck it, game time shit. Take it a Surivasa. And then, I won't say the next sentence, but we win together, we celebrate together, Overwatch is back. It was so good. That was an absolute banger to watch. And it was one of those where it's like, normally I only watch like 2 games when it's like stage 2 because there's so many. I watched all 3 there, like all the way through. It was so funny. Bubba Wyatt, thank you for that. But we will go into our last topic now, because those were really fun ones. I really wish that they were videos of those so I could go back even though the codes are gone. Grand Finals preview, Louisiana Lobsters versus Dirty Sports. This is wild because looking at even just semifinals, it was 4 teams that each played very different comps. Like they were known for a signature comp and each one was different. Here is the same thing where you're running pretty much hard meta versus another pretty much hard meta comp. If you looked at like Team China or looked at like Gushue kind of stuff, where it was like Doom Dive versus like the full-on Sigma comp. I thought was I'm excited for this, especially with the new patch that we know nothing about that is going to have an absolutely insane Doom buff. Like I think it's going to be like a hot fix kind of change after like 2-3 weeks, you know?
Yeah. Be real.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Doom buff is going to get patched or anything. I don't think it's that crazy. I mean, it's just going to make it to where Doom basically has like the second life that he normally has. I mean, most Dooms are going to land on you anyway. I guess it just means he can be more aggressive coming out. It doesn't change the way he plays. His stun didn't get buffed. His
That we
stun
know
just
of
got
yet.
nerfed. Well, that's the only change they're gonna make. They just nerfed his stun
True.
and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We also don't know how much ult charge he's gonna need for it now. Like we don't know what the raise is. They typically have like this bad habit of when they raise ult charge, it's like by a lot. Like Sombra was
Yeah.
like 15 or like 30% over 2 patches, and like it took forever. Brig was like
Yeah.
15%, took forever. So we don't know what they're gonna do to Doom. They might make it towards 15-20% more to get his ult, and now it's like that 75 HP doesn't
That could
really
be pretty
matter
big. That would
because
be
you
pretty
don't
big.
have your ult.
Yeah.
So, but then again, it's like also Sombra gets buffed. So it's like, what does that mean for Doom?
Yeah. So especially when we don't know a lot of the patch, it's gonna be pretty wild. Because I don't know if it's gonna be a meta defining comp or not, where you know, Bastion, Mei, Sigma all get nerfed, Brig gets nerfed, and you know something that they haven't talked about, maybe Genji becomes just uber OP, you know.
Yeah.
But I have my prediction as if this patch won't do a lot. Okay. I think a lot of other people have the same idea. So we can go ahead and go on to those predictions right now. Bubba White, if you're done messing with your prediction stuff. So we are all looking at Louisiana Lobsters, which I can understand. Especially, the last time these two teams played, Louisiana Lobsters won. There was some team issues, I guess I'll leave it at that, the first time they played, right?
Yep. Has
That's
some
been
internal
patched
issues.
out. Won't talk anymore about that, but I think looking at these two teams, I think the Sigma of Space Created doesn't look as good as the Sigma comp from Louisiana Lobsters, and as long as stuff like Dirt doesn't run Tracer to kill Andrew every single fight, or Pyojin learns how to use Ice Block, I think it's going to be pretty big changes. Can you hear that too, or is that just me?
No, I can hear it too for a second.
Okay, that hurt my ears. I got startled. I didn't realize my voice sounded that bad. I'm sorry, everyone.
We have to cry now.
Yeah, so if Pyojin learns how to use his Ice Block instead of using it as just like a stop whatever sort of anti-nade is going on to him, I think Louisiana Lobsters are going to really take this in a 4-2.
Yeah, he has his Ice Block and he's like a kid, right? Like if I stand super still, they won't see me. He's like, if I go in the Ice Block and I come out, they won't see me. Yeah.
However, you've gone with a 4-1.
Look, man.
Any reason why?
I say it every week. Week 1, I said I ain't got time for 6 maps. Louisiana Lobsters in 5. It happened.
Mm-hmm.
Week 2, I said I ain't got time for 5 maps. Stuff to do after 4. That's happening. Next Thursday, I made a little more time in my schedule because we're gonna need 5 to win this. But I ain't got time for 6. I got more homework to do. I got finals coming up. Louisiana Lobsters in 5. Gotta get out of there.
All right. Well, Bubba White, is there any reason why you've gone with a 4-2?
I appreciate Andrew from Kappa's, from the Kitsune League, and I approve of Andrew. Andrew wins Lobsters sweep.
Okay. If other people can't hear Bubba White, our prod, it is.
No, I made it so they can.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So that
They
is.
should be able to at least. No, I made it. So
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, they can.
Oh, all right. So I believe that is it for us. Again, this final will be broadcast Thursday night on twitch.tv/TranquilityGG. There is going to be a live casting from Philadelphia as well, which is pretty exciting. Khiyo, I'm glad you get to travel all the way to Philly too, right?
Right.
For some LAN competition.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Also,
Go ahead.
Insider, with the new patch next week, only gonna say one thing on behalf of the Lobsters, and one thing only.
Mhm.
Winton.
No,
Overwatch.
no.
Winton Overwatch. That's all I'm
No.
saying. I'm leaving it there.
I do think it's very lucky that y'all
Nope.
aren't playing in a dive meta. Hope that dive meta doesn't arrive in the
Well,
very last week of competition,
just
because
gonna
that'd be a
say-
bit woof.
Just gonna say we love us some good Winston Sombra Tracer,
I can't wait to see you flex over to Sombra. Chill.
Yeah. We love some good Winston Sombra Tracer.
All right. Well, I believe that will do it for us. Khiyo, do you have anything you want to add before we sign off for the final time here this season?
#Justice for Space Lobsters.
#Justice for Space Lobsters. Bubba Wyatt, thank you so much for producing for us tonight. Anything you'd like to add? Is there going to be any more bronze banter?
Alright, so all of our upcoming broadcasts, I assume Gold Gossip is still going on. We don't know. We don't really keep up with them. Harmony tier finals is Monday 8:30. Kingpins Abyss. That will be followed immediately by Bronze Banter. Actually, blame Bernie. I'm really hoping that's not a map 7.
God, that would be so funny though. That'd be so funny.
I know it would be so funny because I would have to go from like coaching, managing to doing Bronze Banter, and it'd be like 11:30.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, and then Transcendence tier is Amnesia MI7 on Wednesday. I think they actually also have the or no, that might be Ascendant tier.
Everybody but Harmony plays on the patch.
No, I'm saying plays on
Tuesday?
LAN.
Oh.
No. So on the LAN. I'm not sure if it's I think it's. I can't remember if Transcendence tier or Ascendant tier plays on Tuesday.
Ascendant's on Wednesday.
Okay, so Transcendence is okay. Transcendence gets it then. Transcendence and Discord both get the
Yeah.
whichever. Okay, just whatever games are Wednesday, Thursday.
So Ascendant and Discord.
Yeah. Transcendence is MI7 Amnesia, also 8:30, and then Second Chance Titan will be the Ascendant tier grand finals. So everybody go watch those. We have a
Awesome
B stream.
sauce.
Fun fact. We will never be using
Ooh.
that again, probably.
Well, there's one way to find out, and that's to join us around next season, season 12 of Tranquility, to see if we do end up using that B stream ever again. I'm PhevieWonder, being joined by Khiyo and Bubba Wyatt tonight. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you all have a wonderful night.